Good morning, Tara.
Hi, good morning, everybody.
Good morning. Did I pronounce your name correctly? Is it Tara or Tara?
Oh, I love it. I'm from Boston, so I say Tara, but
Tara. Okay.
Tara, however you pronounce it, it's fine.
I want
Some
to
folks
pronounce
actually,
it. I want your preference. I'm going to call you how you want to be called. So if it's Tara, we can do that.
when I say Tara, I say Tara, and they're like, "What, Tyra?" Like Tyra, and it's just, it's good. But good morning. Yeah,
Good
so
morning.
cute.
Thanks for joining us today.
No, looking forward to it.
We'll get started in another minute. We'll just wait for some more friends to join us. But thank you all for being here. Hi, Eugenia. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm glad I was finally able to make it.
I'm
Thanks.
glad to see you.
Yeah.
Everybody can see my shared screen. Thumbs up.
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you, Tarnisha. Awesome. I see the thumbs up. Thank you. Give it another minute, then we'll get started. Hey, Dr. Carter.
Hey, how you doing?
Great. Welcome. Good to see you.
Thank you. Good to see you too. I don't have a lot of time, but I did want to at least be at the beginning.
I appreciate it. Thank you. It makes us feel good. AJ, Tarnisha, as people are joining, do you mind just letting them in? I'm not always able to see, when hands are raised or anything like that. So if you don't mind just helping with that.
Okay, no problem.
Thank you so much. All right, well, why don't we go ahead and get started? I do want to be mindful of everyone's time, and we only have an hour together. So I'm actually going to go ahead and turn it over to our wonderful co-chair, Ms. Tarnisha Stokes, who will give us our official welcome and agenda review. Tarnisha?
Well, yes. So welcome, everyone. We're glad you're able to join us for this monthly meeting by Healthy Connections Work Group. So please put in the chat, type your name and organization, and this meeting will be recorded. And we really look forward to your participation today. So we have some exciting things on the agenda. Again, welcome. We're going to start with the regrounding, discussing the problem statement, the evidence, and strategic focus. We've been working on this project with the CHIP process for a while now. Our last meeting was really the goal setting, discussing what was our priority and those objectives. And we came up with some performance measures and activities to go along with that. So today we're really looking forward to your feedback because we want you to have some input in this. So we really need for you to speak up and provide your suggestions, recommendations. We'll go through action planning. And of course, we would not leave this meeting without having our community announcements and then our upcoming meeting, and we will adjourn for today. And AJ and Shanae will actually be leading this meeting today. So turn it over to you. And I didn't know if Dr. Carter just want to say anything real quick. Hi, we're glad to have him. He's the co-chair as well.
No, all I'm going to say is that I'm really excited about our group right now because at this particular time, this is the time that we really need to come together and focus on making things happen for our community. And for whatever reason, that's the reason I even put the other meeting aside, because I guess my spirit just tells me that this is a great time. I think that we know that it's a lot of work we have to do coming in the coming months, and people are going to need our help. And we have the capability and the power to do this. I just feel it because, having our last meeting with Shanae and AJ and you, Twanisha, it made me feel that this group is the group that can really make a significant change if we just come together, work on it, and make sure that we help people get the resources they need. That's the first step. And this group has really been working really hard to make this happen. So I just look forward to the feedback and the strong effort that you all give to make this work. Because Shanae has and AJ have really outlined it very well and what the things that we need to do. It's going to take you all to make this work. And I just got the good feeling that it's going to. That's so I said I have to at least come and say, say that. You all know how I am. So, so thank you all. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Dr. Carter, and thank you for your kind words. And I agree, this is a phenomenal group of partners to work with. So I'm looking forward to what's to come. So with that, we'll go right ahead and jump into it. Today, our focus is on the final phase of our CHIP, our Community Health Improvement Plan, and that's our strategy development. So our goal today is really just to take everything that we've learned through the data analysis, through the discussions, and translate all of that into these actionable strategies that we can implement together. But before we dive into that, I always like to just briefly review all that we've established to bring us to this point so far. And again, this is really just to ensure that we all have a shared understanding, especially for any new participants or anyone who may have missed a couple of the previous planning meetings. This is just to help kind of reground us. So I'll just quickly review. Our problem statement that was selected by the CHIP Steering Committee states that health literacy challenges make it difficult for residents to navigate available services and resources. And the data from our Community Health Assessment, or our CHA, revealed that limited health literacy combined with things like insurance gaps and other barriers to care was making it exceptionally difficult for our residents to access and navigate those county services and resources that you all provide. So through our root cause analysis discussions, and if you remember, we've had that last fall. It doesn't feel that long ago, but last fall was quite a bit ago. But during that time, we identified several potential starting points that we wanted to consider to address the issue. And so what we did is we polled the group, and the majority of you all selected clear, centralized health information as that strong starting point, specifically how we can ensure residents can easily find and understand the information that's out there about those services and those county benefits. And so from there, we discussed what success could look like over the next 3 years. We identified some common themes like centralization of resources. We talked about navigation support, accessibility, consistent messaging across organizations, and making sure that there's that increased community involvement, not just with partners, but with those community members as well. And these themes really helped guide the development of those drafted goals. And so we presented those goals and objectives to you all, and we made a decision on what it is that we wanted to focus. So the goal and corresponding objective statements that you all voted to prioritize for this strategy development, I'm providing on the screen for you today. And I'll just kind of quickly review those with you. But we all voted on goal 1, which was to increase access to clear, centralized, and culturally responsive health information. And this goal really focuses on, just trying to make it easier for our county residents to not only find, but also understand health information in one trusted space, right? So by promoting platforms like findhelp.org, the goal is really to just connect those community members to a more centralized, to a more user-friendly, as well as a multilingual resource hub that can simplify how people learn about and access the county services that are out there. And so based on those work group discussions and some feedback, we drafted 2 proposed smartest objectives that were aimed at addressing this goal. And so what you'll notice is that these objectives really just center around increasing both public engagement as well as provider participation to make findhelp.org a widely used centralized hub for accessing and connecting to care. And so very quickly, the first objective, 1.1, focuses on increasing the percentage of Prince George's County residents who report awareness of and use of Find Help as that centralized hub. And then our second objective is more partner focused, where we want to increase the number of partner organizations in the county that actively use Find Help as a resource and referral hub. And so before we go into our action planning activity, I do very similarly to Dr. Carter. I mean, he took the words right out of my mouth, but I do want to acknowledge that, you know, our discussions together and your ideas have been incredibly valuable throughout this entire process. We have covered a lot of ground in such a short amount of time. And so now that we've landed on this focused goal and these clear objectives, we get to move into this next phase of action planning. And so what we're going to do is I'm actually going to walk through this action plan template with you all, and we're going to start organizing these ideas into something a little bit more concrete. And so what we've done is we've pulled together just a set of draft action steps based on those prior work group discussions, what we're seeing in the county, in the state, and some best practices around health information access and navigation. And these action steps were really meant to be, these drafted action steps are really meant to be coalition level. So not only are they coalition level, but they're practical and they're measurable. And so really we're looking to you all for that feedback, right? So give us those suggestions, give us your thoughts. Do these drafted action steps, do they feel feasible? Do they feel realistic? You know, are there populations or gaps that we're missing? You know, is there anyone that should be at the table with us as we're making these plans and having these conversations that can really help, you know, better push these steps into motion? And then, you know, where might some of these action steps be harder to implement than what it sounds like on paper, right? So this is the stage where all of our collective ideas really start turning into those real strategies that we can actually implement. And we want to implement them together. So your feedback is incredibly important at this time. And again, really just the goal here is to make sure that whatever we land on is something that this coalition can actually move forward together. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and share that those drafted action steps. And I'm hoping you all can see that. I'm trying to make the font a little bit larger. I have glasses and I still can't see a thing. All right, so I went ahead and pulled up this Word document or this action plan template. Thumbs up if you all can see that. Or an okay, head nods. Okay, perfect. Thank you. All right, so what you'll see are some draft action steps that are aligned with the goal and both objectives that, again, came out of our work group discussions and our brainstorming ideas. And these action steps are intentionally written from a coalition perspective. So I say that to say that it's not just about what one agency can do alone, but what we can all move forward together. All right, so let's take a look. And I apologize if you can hear in my background, they're doing yard work right outside my window. So if you can hear that, I apologize. But okay, so let's start with the very first objective, objective 1.1, which states that what we want to do is increase the percentage of county residents who report awareness and use of Find Help as a centralized multilingual health information hub. And what this objective really focuses on is resident awareness and use of the platform. And the idea here is simple, but it's important, right? So we know that even the best resource that exists will not help if people don't know about it or they don't feel comfortable using it, right? So that's what we want to try to focus on here. And our first set of action steps really focuses specifically on that community outreach and awareness piece. So we're thinking about taking a more coordinated approach to this, right? So it shouldn't just be one organization promoting this, but multiple partners reinforcing the same message across different spaces. So that includes things like working with the health department, with the other community-based organizations, with trusted community spaces like libraries, like community centers, as well as you all as our community partners to really push Find Help as that centralized resource. And that could look like us attending already established community events. Maybe there's health fairs. You all might have some outreach activities where we can go out and try to increase that visibility and awareness of Find Help. And then we'll work together to try to develop and share materials that are culturally relevant, that are linguistically appropriate, that can help educate the community on what Find Help is and promote that platform across both in-person and digital channels, right? So we want to create and share messaging across a variety of ways. So not just print materials, but think about social media, think about, you know, print newsletters or email newsletters, websites. And we want to make sure that the messaging is health literate, right? We want it written in plain, simple language so that residents across the lifespan and across varying education levels can understand and use the information that we provide. And then something else that's also important is we don't just want to focus on the awareness piece, but also confidence in using the platform as well. So thinking about things like offering demonstrations, having tutorials and walkthroughs on how to use the platform, and providing that guided support, whether that's in person or virtual, that's something we all can decide as a group, but that meets the needs of those underserved populations in particular, right? So it's not just providing this guided support, not just providing these demonstrations in English, but providing them in other languages as well, considering populations that are often overlooked, like our disability community, like our older adult population, those who may have lower digital literacy, right? So those are our first set of action steps. And I do just want to open the floor now and just kind of get your initial thoughts on this approach. Are there any opportunities for outreach that we're not considering here? We may have overlooked.
Shanae, thank you so much for this comprehensive overview. I would say I'd like to also think about including the hospitals in the coordinated outreach. Also, if we're considering any gatekeepers for this information of how to access community, I know, you know, in the previous iteration of the CCCT, we really focused on those care coordinators, the community health workers, the community outreach coordinators. So I don't know, you know, if that's kind of another action item specifically working with those folks to connect to community, but seeing how that can feed in here as well.
Yes, ma'am. Great minds. We'll get to that too.
Okay, perfect.
Love it. No, that's great feedback. Thank you, Taylor.
Oh, and for beyond just the health department, I would also probably consider other government agencies. So our folks over at Department of Social Services, Family Services, and everything and everyone in between, as well as the Maryland National Capital Park and Planning Commission, aka Parks and Recreation.
Perfect. Thank you. Excuse me. Any other feedback? Feel free to utilize the chat or unmute yourselves. Thank you, Taylor. Great. Well, then let's go ahead and move on to the next set of action steps. And this centers around community access points and navigation support. So Taylor, this is kind of where you were mentioning, you know, other ways to connect to the community. So, you know, just kind of bringing the platform into, thank you, Dr. Carter. Bringing the platform into spaces where people already are. So instead of expecting residents to find help out or seek this resource out, we want to integrate it into these other trusted spaces like the WIC offices, like the clinics, the libraries, community centers, and other trusted high traffic locations. I mean, we could even consider the schools, other government agencies, so all these great ideas that you had and that you just recently shared. And then making sure that we consider those other frontline staff, so our community health workers, those resource navigators, case managers, and making sure that they're all equipped to not only use the platform themselves, but also support residents in using it, because this is something that both partners and residents can use on their own. And then along that line, thinking about reducing access barriers, right? So we know that everyone doesn't have access to the internet or Wi-Fi, and we know that people might have preferences for certain means or different means to accessing information. So, thinking about things like QR codes, like print materials, maybe there's direct links, maybe there's on-site assistance, right? And just trying to make sure that we're, again, making these materials as accessible as we can for people who may speak different languages, who may have different or varying digital literacy needs, but just being open to that. And on that note, I'll again open the floor for comments. Any groups or populations that we're missing here? Sharon, I see your hand.
Oh, Sharon, you're on mute.
Sorry, I turned on my picture, but not my sound. I was wondering if there was an app for Find Help that could be downloaded like onto a smartphone.
Yes, there is. There is an app available.
Because that's one of the ways to reach people who may not have other means of electronic communication is if there's an app, and to have that sort of, in my mind, I was envisioning like posters in clinics that had the Find Help, what it does, and how to download the app, as opposed to a QR code.
Yep, absolutely. So we can definitely do that. Something else that has been done in another county was if you go to like one of the public libraries, the mats for the computer mouse, they're logoed with the Find Help website so people can access that. I've gone to like urgent care centers, and you know how they have the screens with like the rolling resources. Find Help has been a resource that's popped up on the screen. So we can really find creative ways to get this resource out to the community. So yes, there is an app, Sharon.
Thank you.
Sure.
Actually, I can also add to that. I was wondering if, there could be a press release or something like, maybe create a Find Help Day or something and send a press release out and try to pick up on some of the local media. I'm talking free media, not market. I recently saw on the television a commercial for Find Help, which I thought was kind of interesting.
That's
I hadn't,
cool.
I hadn't seen that before. But if we can get the media, both English and non-English resources to pick up and do like a little piece on Find Help, it might be helpful.
I love that. That's great.
That's like great ideas. And Wendy also mentioned, and maybe put flyers, Wendy, if that's what you're talking about, in the pharmacies as well. Did you want to come mute, Wendy, and just kind of explain?
Hi, I'm your stalker
Hi.
from Delaware.
My friend.
I love this committee. I think you guys do the best work ever, and we'd love to copy it in Delaware. And Delaware is about the same size as your county, so there's that. But I was thinking, as you were putting information posters out in clinics, pharmacies would be a great place to put those as well, because you get so much traffic in the pharmacy.
Love that.
If we're thinking locally as well, we should definitely think about bringing in our council members, because I know a lot of times in our districts, the residents are going directly to their council persons, to their elected officials, and asking for these resources. And a lot of time we're hearing that they don't know where to send these folks. And so if we could get their staff trained, get their buy-in, it's kind of a 2-for-1 deal where, they're seeing kind of the importance of Find Help, where we could push this idea of needing the enterprise version, while also, making sure that they know this resource and know how to get their residents who are calling in and asking for resources. They know how to get them connected to it.
I love that. That's great. Thank you, Taylor. All these are wonderful ideas. And something else that came to mind as you all were talking was to get the universities on board. We know that this is a digital platform and students are always looking for resources, and students are typically the ones who are often using that digital media to seek resources. So getting those posters out there, getting some demonstrations out there, tutorials out there for our students, I think would be a great idea, and utilizing the support of the School of Public Health at some of these universities to help promote and push this. It's just a thought that came to mind.
Yeah, and also really considering Find Help to be a partner in this as well,
Yeah.
beyond just using the platform. I know, when we were choosing to select Find Help, they were a strong thought partner in, telling us about how to use the platform, that evaluation in particular. We also may want to collaborate with other jurisdictions similar to
Yeah.
how we've previously done, because in the data sharing aspect, we learned a lot, for example, that in our other counties, our neighboring counties, that their top zip codes where folks are seeking resources are actually Prince George's County zip codes. And so I think that really speaks to the volume of, the need of residents leaving the county for resources. And so I think once we start to really kind of get in the weeds of understanding what are the resources that folks are in most need of, what are they most getting connected to, what are they most not getting connected to,
Correct.
and what are they having to leave the county to seek.
Absolutely. That's great. Thank you, Taylor. That's a wonderful point. All great feedback, everyone. Thank you. Any other comments or thoughts about this set of action steps? And if not, we can move on to the second objective.
I have one other thought, and that is, sometimes there are just basic barriers for people trying new things. Is that the training the frontline staff not only to use Find Help, but to teach people they're working with to use Find Help.
Yeah.
So that they're transitioning the knowledge and building a comfort level with the people they're working with using that resource themselves.
Wonderful. Perfect.
And I do just want to bring up, since we're talking about the accessibility of materials, especially as we talk about language justice, anytime we're talking about, translation of materials, I always like to build in some pilot testing to make sure that the message is landing how we want it to. So for example, I know with Find Help, I believe that they have like the Google Translate integration, and I don't know if that's always 100% on correct translation. So it may be worthwhile for us to do some piloting with some of those priority populations, just to make sure that the messages are being perceived as correctly as they are, as we receive them in English. And then also, of course, for any sort of marketing material. So maybe something as we start to break out these action items into specific steps.
That's fantastic.
Can I say something? Google Translate really translate word by word.
Okay.
No, yeah, it's not accurate. Especially, well, I have experience with the Spanish, and it's not accurate. And remember that the Spanish is very how I can say it, certainly we can speak Spanish and with different slang, with different idioms, different countries, different believe different things around the Spanish. Is very big, so it's no really accurate Google Translate. But on the other hand, I think that Horowitz Center, if you can talk and express that you need support for all of those kind of digital access tool or health literacy, we can talk and we can continue to working together, especially with knowledge and knowledge with Dr. Bauer. I think that she will be so happy to support you.
Wonderful. Yes, I always have you guys on mind. So
Yeah.
afterthought. Yes.
Don't
Thank you so
hesitate.
much.
Please don't hesitate to contact us for any thing that you need. We are open, especially, Prince George.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll just plug in, it's not just for the action steps here, this is for all of our partners on this call. Please, 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 if you're looking to like shameless plug, but like if you're looking for help with making your materials more accessible, plain language, like please, I encourage you all to reach out to the Horowitz Center. We've used them across counties and they've been fantastic. So shameless plug for you all, but yeah, they're available to us and want to help.
Yeah, and then we are able to train the staff, to train the organization for free, and then provide many tools and materials and templates for website, for plant language and language access also. And then, yeah.
Thank you, Marlena. Was there another comment? I thought I
Yes,
saw.
Yes,
Eugenia has her hand
yeah,
raised.
yes. I wanted to go back to, I heard mention something about ensuring that facilities like hospitals have access to this. And I want to just make sure we don't forget about behavioral health. Mostly because our residents have to go out of the county to get any type of inpatient service for children or adolescents. So my question really is, will that availability to hospitals also be extended to those hospitals out of our county, since they are serving our residents? That's one. And then two, I would also want to include some of the more structured behavioral health offices, if you will, because we do have two urgent care facilities in the county that essentially operate as clinics, large clinics that we would want to probably have some access and availability to staff there to have it.
Perfect. Yep. So yeah, yes to both questions. Yes, we can expand this
Thank you.
out. So the idea is this is a 3-year plan, right? So the idea is to start in-house first, right? To make sure we're all on board, all of our coalition members are on board, and then expand it out. Because we do know, to your point, to Taylor's point, that a lot of our residents are seeking services outside of or across county lines and other jurisdictions. And so yes, we do want to make sure that we're including all of those other partners. And this is not just, this is for any partner. So if you're behavioral health, transportation, food resources, chronic disease resource, like anything, anybody who wants to be included in this platform can be, whether you're a private practitioner or, a community-based organization, a faith-based organization, as a partner, you can be a part of this platform. So this is something that ironically has been of interest across work groups. So that's also our behavioral health work group. And so Find Help has been included in the action plans across work groups. So I think, with our Healthy Connections, I think this work group will be the spearhead for that. But this is something that I'm hopeful, and there is interest across work groups to utilize for all the varying types of services that are provided for our county. So
Great, thanks.
there's buy-in, yes. All right, I do want to be mindful of our time, and I had to go ahead and move on to our next objective. Okay, so we talked about the community member side of this plan, and so now we're going to shift a little bit to objective 1.2, which is our partner adoption and use. And this kind of goes to your point, Eugenia, because for this to really work, right, it's not just about our residents finding these resources, it's about our organizations that also use the same system to coordinate referrals and navigation. So we want to increase the number of partner organizations that actively use Find Help as a resource and a referral hub. So we're going to start with our partner engagement and training, specifically how we plan to onboard and engage our partners. And again, I mentioned the idea is to start in-house first, so starting with our coalition members to essentially prove concept before expanding out to additional partners. But what we're thinking of doing is, identifying and onboarding those coalition partners and organizations who we think can benefit from using this Find Help platform. So thinking about the providers, the federally qualified health centers, those behavioral health providers, the schools, social service agencies, our CBOs, all across work groups who can use this service. And then providing them with the proper training and technical assistance to support referrals and navigation of the platform. And then we also want to make sure that we're creating space for peer learning and sharing what's working, learning from each other across sectors, not just sectors, but across jurisdictions. I think it was Taylor who kind of brought that up, working with other counties. And so, providing those opportunities for those co-learning, those peer learning activities. So with that, and we'll just kind of start there with partner engagement and training. I guess my question to you all is, what has your experience been with onboarding new systems or new tools? Like, I know sometimes people are a little hesitant, like, oh, something else, right? And so I'm sensitive to that. And so we want to make this as simple and as easy as possible. And so just, any feedback you have, like, what helps with adoption of new systems or tools, or what tends to be a barrier when it comes to trying to onboard new systems or tools. And I can open the floor. Thoughts?
No, Shanae, this was kind of more so on the behavioral health side when we were rolling out Find Help to the Behavioral Health Advisory Group. It was expressed among some partners that, in the adoption of the system, they, especially when, trying to make the coalition member trying to make the case to their leadership that this buy-in was worth it, that they had to kind of make the case that it was better than the system that they were currently using. So for example, like since there is Maryland 211 that some folks may be using, or, the community health workers within their own organizations may have already created their own like curated lists that they're referencing. I would say that that's something, we may have to be very methodical about, is really making sure that we communicate the benefit, and then also the financial piece, because I know there are some, when you go in, as an organization, as a service provider, when you go in and you add and claim your organization, you too have the option to keep a free account, or there's a paid version. And so there were some that had the capacity to take on the paid version. There were others that were not. And so that would be something that we would want to explore. So for example, if the data component is missing from the free version for the organizations, how can we rectify that? Is that something that, as the county, do we have access to that data? Can we get access for that organization? So I would say, we may have to take the time as well to meet with some of those late adopters slash the adopters who do not, the people who do not want to adopt it.
Got you. Thank you for that. That's definitely a barrier we can consider. Any other thoughts or feedback? Okay. Hearing none, we'll go ahead and move on to workflow integration and referral use. So this is really just centering around making sure this isn't just something partners know about, but something they're actively using or using consistently. So that means, integrating Find Help into those existing workflows, supporting partners in maintaining accurate, up-to-date service listings. So it's what we call program cards. So every organization that wants to be a part of Find Help has their program card, has all their information, name, business hours, location. And so creating a method to ensure that if you decide to put your information in Find Help, that as a coalition, we're keeping that up to date, whether that's on a biannual basis, a quarterly basis, and we can decide, what that looks like and who would be responsible for that, as well as promoting Find Help as that shared referral pathway across organizations. So instead of those fragmented referrals, we want to move towards something that's a bit more coordinated and standardized. And so with that, I understand that everyone's workflow isn't the same, and that integration is going to look different across organizations. And so that's going to be a little bit of a challenge, but something that can be addressed, because Find Help has been fantastic at working with organizations one-on-one to help find creative ways to integrate this service into their workflow. But is there any other thoughts or feedback on any action steps as it pertains to workflow integration and referral use?
I would just say making sure that each organization is considering their priority population. There are some features in Find Help that I think could be enhanced to serve the priority populations. So, like thinking, for example, if the referral site is going to require government identification or the legal documents that you need to bring to that site, if they anticipate any sort of presence at that site, anything that would make anyone in the community feel unsafe at that location. So I would say, just kind of adding those thoughts to the workflow. That may, again, it's going to be on an individual basis, but I think we can also come to a group consensus and also talk about how we may come up with that as Prince George's County, how we may be able to start listing those and sharing that information among folks. So if for example, you're referring folks to this pantry and they're asking for government ID and a birth certificate and this and that, then, hopefully we can share that information as a group and have that be a part of a larger, a broader workflow within the coalition as well.
Love that. Thank you. I'm taking notes too. Any other thoughts? Okay. To be mindful of time, I'll go ahead and move on to our last set of action steps. And this final piece is really about alignment and sustainability. So, if this is something we want to work long term, we are, again, going to need that consistency, whether that's consistent messaging across our partners and alignment around using this as that primary navigation tool. And then that ongoing data sharing piece, so we can see what's working well, where the gaps are, and creating those feedback loops so we can really work with the platform to continuously improve this process based on that partner feedback and your experience, based on resident feedback and experience, as well as utilization data. And so, so I think all of those things are going to be super important as we consider sustainability in this piece. So I guess my question to you, how do you all feel about aligning around a shared platform like this? And what do you think would help build that buy-in across organizations? I know, Taylor, you mentioned, highlighting the benefits of utilizing the platform versus something they may already have established. Anything else? Any other concerns we should be thinking about?
I want to lift up the other point. I think that this is an effort that can cross all of the work groups. And so, bringing it into the healthy eating, active living space, behavioral health space, however we can, start to ignite this and get the entire coalition talking about it so it doesn't just remain a healthy connections goal. I think that will be very helpful.
Awesome. Yep. And that is definitely the plan. We've had our action step planning meetings across work groups, and every single one of them has had Find Help incorporated in their action steps, which I was like, oh, this is fantastic. This is like naturally happening. So I don't even have to like push it. This is great. So yeah, love that. Thank you, Taylor. Any other feedback? Okay. Well, hearing none, those are the proposed action steps across both objectives. And again, those came out of a lot of the discussions that we've had previously with you all across other work groups, with partners, and just, looking into best practices. And so again, these were meant to be collaborative and iterative. So these are not final. And so thank you all for your feedback. We're going to take all of that into consideration and go back and rework some of the action steps to make sure we're considering this feedback. We really just want this to reflect what's feasible and impactful in the county and in your workplace setting. So, if any thoughts come to mind after our meeting today, you are welcome to reach out to to me personally, you can reach out to the PGHAC email to share your feedback on the action steps, on any gaps or ideas that you have. And we're happy to set up, short meetings with you all to talk things through a bit more. We had one, I think it was yesterday, we had a meeting with a partner yesterday to talk a bit more about some of the action steps and how her organization could align specifically with that. So really the goal is to just walk away with something that is not just a strong plan, but something that's actually doable and something that's actually impactful across the coalition and in our county. So we thank you all again for leaning into this process with us today. And again, we'll be sure to incorporate your feedback and we'll present the final plan at next month's meeting, because we are definitely looking forward to continuing this work together as well as that implementation piece. And so with that, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to AJ, who's going to share our community announcements before we adjourn.
Thank you. Thank you, Shanae. Great meeting today. To aid your wellness journey, Capital Region Health will be providing free health screenings at 2 upcoming local health fairs, ongoing health promotion and disease prevention education classes. For more info, you can visit the link that is on the slide and will be provided to you. Next up, you can join Prince George's County's community partners each month for 90 minutes of free virtual fun to get active and learn tips for making healthy choices. April's topics will be smart screening for colon health and will take place, yesterday.
Sorry. Sorry.
But all good. This is an ongoing event. So this is happening each month for 90 minutes. Next up, we have Prince George's Mental Health Champions hosting a free ice skating event for all ages at the Bowie Ice Skating Rink on Friday, May 1st from 6 to 8 p.m. You can email the email address on the slide or scan the QR code for more information. Join the GOAT or GOAT Expo team on Saturday, May 2nd at Bowie State University for a full day of workshops, resources, live performances, and support for youth 16 to 25 and their families. This event is free to attend and you can register via the link on the slide. This year's Older Americans Month theme is focusing on prevention, wellness, and personal responsibility as essential components of healthy aging. In support of that theme, we believe offering preventative health services during the fair would provide meaningful value to participating seniors and reinforce the importance of proactive health management. If feasible, we would be grateful for consideration of any available screening services such as blood pressure checks, blood sugar and glucose testing, cholesterol screening, vision and hearing checks, bone density or osteoporosis risk assessments, and fall risk assessments. So you can contact Warren Wilson for more information, and that link will be provided. Your Prince George's County Mental Health Champions will be hosting their Spring into Wellness Behavior Health Expo on Saturday, May 16th at the Southern Region's Technology and Recreational Complex. Join them for a free interactive community event aimed at offering behavioral health and wellness resources to adults and youth at every stage of life. Featured activities include a farmer's market, free food demonstrations and samples, live fitness demos, free health screenings, entertainment, and educational experiences. Join the Alzheimer's Association in Parks and Recreation on Saturday, May 23rd from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. for brain health event focusing on how to reduce risk and build resilience at every age. This family-friendly event offered virtually and in person will bring together experts and neighbors to discuss practical tips for reducing risk and building resilience and share experiences and ideas to better support families and individuals affected by affected by Alzheimer's in our community. You can register for that today. And last but not least, Chesapeake Life Center just released dates for their 2026 Camp Nabi on August 7th through the 9th. This is a full weekend overnight camp in Millersville, Maryland for youth ages 6 through 18 who have experienced the death of a loved one. You can reach out to our fellow coalition member Carrie Stansel for more information. Back over to you, Shanae.
Thank you. Are there any other partner announcements at this time? right, hearing none. If anything comes to mind, or if you have any flyers or additional information that you'd like me to share with the work group, you are most welcome to email me, or you can email the PGHAC email address. And if you have not done so already, you can go ahead and scan this QR code, or we'll provide the link after the meeting to update your contact information for the coalition directory. We just want to make sure we have everyone's most recent information, but we also are using this as a way to capture those who are assisting us with this chip development process, because we do want to give credit to those who are helping us. And so please, please, please just make sure you take about 2 to 3 minutes to complete that directory survey, so we have your information. And again, if no other partner announcements, just a quick snapshot of all of our upcoming work group meetings for the remaining quarter. You're welcome to participate in any of our work groups, especially during this chip planning phase. We want your expertise. We look forward to your assistance with putting these action items together. But our next Healthy Minds work group meeting will be next month on Thursday, May 28th at 11 a.m., same time, same place. And with that, as we close, a big, 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 super big thank you to you all for just your participation, for your feedback, for your thoughts today. Again, we cannot do this work without you all, so we really appreciate your engagement today. Thank you all so much, and we look forward to continuing this work together. Have a great afternoon. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.